everything is septenary in this configuration. In other words, there are sevens and sevens and sevens. And at the end of the seventh age, we start over again. There are 7 Chohans, which means 7 lords, and each one of them has as a dominion a particular ray. And the first ray is El Moria. It's blue. It's will and power. Not willpower, but will and power. And willpower in its own way. So the first ray is the ray of leadership. All of the beings in hierarchy, who are, shall we say, generals, captains, whatever you want to call them, wield a sword. Astrea carries a sword. Astrea is the Elohim of the blue ray. And that sword is used to cut us loose and set us free. In other words, to separate the real from the unreal. Archangel Michael is the blue ray angel and is associated with the sword as well. And El Moria, of course, who was King Arthur, is associated with Excalibur. So there's something to do in the first ray with breaking free of the human or the lower self. In other words, we have to cut ourselves, we have to cut the ties to the lower self to create that freedom. Now, in a sense, there's no real order to when you go to one ray or another. But in a sense, we have to start at the first ray. And really the first ray is the key. And I always say this, I have a decree in the book. It says, not my will, not my will, not my will, but thine be done. And it goes that 4 times, and then it says, I am the will of God in me, I am the will of God in me, I am the will of God in me, I am the will of God in me. It does back and forth 4 times. Well, that's once for each of the 4 lower bodies. And what it amounts to is it's the Alpha and Omega. I am the will of God in me, I am not my will. It's the transmutation of letting go of the so-called free will, which isn't really free will at all. Because free will is dominated by our mischoices, our misuse of energy. So our free will is only free will within our karmic opportunity. There has to be free will to choose. In other words, if we can't make a choice, there's no separation, there's no learning, there's no duality. If we don't have duality, there's no learning. Duality and the choice and the free will all have to manifest for us to make any progress at all. I've discovered that one of the key issues to learning and to knowing is giving up what we call free will. If I'm willing to give up what we call my separate free will as a lower self, then my higher self is free to speak about my real self. And I'm giving it permission to do that. So really, free will is the beginning. Laying down your free will and say, not my will, is the beginning of wisdom. It's the smartest thing you can do. And that's how we get to the second ray, which is yellow, or wisdom. And the second ray, Kuthumi was the Chohan of the second ray. And he eventually moved on to the office of the world teacher. And second ray is now held by Lanto. Lanto and Confucius worked together. They are both yellow ray masters. And Lanto was embodied as Lao Tzu or the Yellow Emperor. So this is the wisdom ray, and this is the ray of the Christ and the world teacher, or the cosmic Christ. Maitreya was the head of that office as the cosmic Christ. He has moved up to Buddha of the world, and Buddha, Gautama Buddha, has moved up to Lord of the world, or planetary logos. So in 54, everything shifted. So we find out that really wisdom and will or power isn't enough. It's not enough. Well, how many colors can we create with blue and yellow?
Green.
Yes, exactly. But how many colors can we create with blue, yellow, and pink? 256 million, they say, with computers. So really what we're talking about here is the three in one. We're talking about the spiritual triad in a way. The love, wisdom, and power. The Father is the blue or leadership aspect. The Son is the yellow or wisdom. And the Holy Spirit is the pink or love aspect. And these three make what we call the threefold flame, which is the actual part of us that causes us to live. So we have a threefold flame in a secret chamber in our heart. And it's these three flames, or three sacred fires: love, wisdom, and power. And if you spin those, and they're exactly balanced, we say balance the threefold flame in me at Summit. And at Ascension Group, we say I am love, wisdom, and power, balancing every hour. I am love, wisdom, and power, balancing every hour. When we balance that completely and spin it, it becomes the white flame of Ascension, which is the fourth ray. So Paul the Venetian is the Chohan of the third ray, and he was embodied as the Paolo Veronese, the famous painter. So the three of them are really the Manu, which is the office of the lawgiver, El Moria, the world teacher, or Christ, which is the aspect of Kuthumi, or wisdom, and then the Holy Spirit, or the love aspect of the Mahachohan. So these three are the main rays. Anyway, the fourth ray, of course, is the white ray, which is all three balanced. And that is Serapis Bey. It's ascension and purity. Archangel Gabriel, white ray. Fifth ray, of course, is Hilarion, the Chohan, or green, which is blue and yellow. So that creates healing, abundance, truth, money. These are all green ray aspects. If you have abundance, if you lead the abundant life, then you have everything you need. And ultimately, we have everything we need. This is one of the aspects of the covenant with the Father, is that we have everything we need in our causal body to accomplish our divine plan. The only one that can really get in the way is us. So, Paul, or Saul of Tarsus, he was the one who was chosen to be the Chohan of the green ray. And then Jesus was the sixth ray master, as the Piscean, and he transferred it over to Nada. Nada. So Nada is now and he moved up to the office of the world teacher as well.
Paul and Hilarion, one and the same?
Paul and Hilarion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hilarion is his name now. Okay. I'm just referring to his embodiment as Paul. And Jesus was the sixth ray Chohan, and now Nada is.
And that color is?
It's purple and gold, which is again a balance of the three. It's purple flecked with gold. Mm-hmm. That's sixth ray. Service and devotion are aspects of the sixth ray. Seventh ray, of course, is Saint Germain. It's the violet flame, which is pink and blue. So we have three. All of these flames of the four other flames are aspects of the three, the original three. So the majority of this flame is transmutation, I would say. And they call Saint Germain the god of freedom, so he is identified with holding the balance for freedom on this planet and in this quadrant of the universe. So it's freedom is a quality, and when I said earlier, ceremonial magic is a quality. Now, when I say ceremonial magic, decrees are a form of ceremonial magic.